Healthcare is a right, but what I've seen working with mercy in Africa is that so many people don't have access to healthcare, and if you can offer it to them, they consider it a privilege. Surgeons often come in for a couple of weeks, they don't have time to go and find their own patients. The idea of the screening team is to find appropriate surgical candidates that are within Mercyship's scope of practice, to bring them at the right time for the right surgeon, to do all of that pre-work, to find them, get them here, do all their pre-diagnostics and basically have them ready to go.
It takes a lot of effort to go to a remote area. You have to find people that you can work with, you have to find a way to get there, and that's either driving for 2 weeks on roads that are not very accessible or partner with people like MAF. If it wasn't for them, there would be no way that we could fly to 13 remote places because it would take weeks to get somewhere and weeks to get back. What I always loved about Mercyships is that we are not reaching out for just anyone. I think Mercyships is always looking how we can walk the extra mile to really give our help to the patients that would otherwise never be able to get treatment.
I love getting off the ship and meeting people where they're at. Being the first point of contact with Mercyships, when you can just meet, you know, those individuals and you hear those individual stories and you hear about lives changed, I think that's what makes it worth it.
I think one of the hardest parts about our job, no doubt, is to see conditions that ordinarily at home are fixed quite rapidly and without hesitation, really. I think that's going to be a common answer if you ask any of us on the screening team.
It is the toughest part of our job. Even in my hospital, there were conditions that you cannot treat or that that will never be curable, but there's always an alternative.
I think my favorite moments are when it all works out. Logistics and organization is a huge part of our job, and when you get to the screening day and it actually comes through and you're seeing patients in front of you, that's the best part.
So there's an excitement and a joy because you can see that in the patient, you can see that in their family. On the other hand, I'm like, well, but I'm getting it back home, so it should be normal for them too.
It's not necessarily about the fact that Mercyships is going to come in and fix everything, fix the healthcare system. We can't. We're not coming here to save Africa, but you know, there's certain people that we can help and there's certain things that we can do. It's not just the numbers, you know, you can look at the numbers, but it's the stories and it's the faces behind the numbers. And I think that's what changes them and that's what changes us.